Joining me now, Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House and Fox News contributor. Newt, there's a couple of things going on here. Number one, the rules never apply to them. They never have to live with the carnage and the ruin that their policies create because they kind of float above it. But they were caught here, weren't they?
They were caught, and frankly, my favorite wasn't on the island, although I do think with Barack Obama's, 29-acre estate, he could easily have hosted everybody there, had a nice picnic, allowed them to camp out. But the one I liked even more was the two busloads arriving at Kamala Harris's vice presidential residence just shortly after she announced on NBC News that the border is secure. The irony of how totally dishonest she is, and the fact that Governor Abbott did a great job. Between Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, I feel like Republicans are back on offense and are finding a way to break through the media, because this was so vivid in both places that actually the mainstream media found itself having to cover it. It was sort of delicious.
Yeah, finally Republicans are producing events rather than just talking at people, releasing statements or multi-part plans. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you create events that are newsworthy, they have to cover them. And then all of a sudden, you see split screens with, the truth happening on one side and then a bunch of angry liberals on the other. Well, Newt, I need to play something. This was from Biden last night, where I think if you listen closely, he basically gave up the game.
The historic American Rescue Plan helped us emerge from the pandemic and move from economic crisis to resurgence. It helped to safely reopen our schools, an absolute necessity, including 28% of public school students who are Latino. 28%. You're all going to own the country, man. We better darn well make sure they have every opportunity they have. Not a joke.
Well, Newt, someone who happens to love Hispanic Americans as myself, since my daughter's from Guatemala, but they get upset when you say there's demographic change going on and this is a replacement. People don't like that language, I get. It's fraught with all sorts of things. But he's kind of, in a way, referencing that in that comment.
Well, yes, but the amazing thing is, because most Latino families believe in the work ethic, because they care about take-home pay, because they're aware of the cost of living crisis we're living through, and because they have core values that make them really angry about a lot of the left-wing woke ideas, you're seeing a larger and larger number of Latino Americans vote Republican. So I think whatever the Democrats' theory was, their total failure to deliver, the fact that it just isn't working, is costing them votes in every community. African American, Latino American, Asian American, as well as traditional white Americans. Because you look around, you go to the grocery store, you look at the price of Cheerios, and it just isn't working. And I think that's the great problem, and it's why I still believe there's going to be an amazingly big Republican victory this fall.
Yeah, I think the Hispanics, again, using their fraught language, they're actually going to replace the Democrats because they're voting Republican. So
that's right.
I don't think they know what they're kind of mixed up in how they're trying to analyze this as usual. Today on MSNBC Newt, they were discussing one of the so-called solutions that the Biden administration is looking at here. Watch.
There are DHS officials who are going to meetings called at the White House pretty regularly now, where they're looking at these numbers as they're going up. They're coming up with solutions. Some of them include busing migrants from the border into the interior, but not in a way where you would surprise a community like this in Martha's Vineyard.
Newt, it's only bad when they go to Martha's Vineyard because it affects the elites. And the elites like to talk about caring about immigrants, but in the end, they just want to deport them, vote them off the island.
Look, what she just said is a total lie. They have been flying people around, busing people around, sending them around by train, and not telling local authorities. They've been landing at night in places like Westchester. The fact is that you've had 2 million people cross the border illegally under Joe Biden, and they didn't all stay in South Texas. They're all over the country. And in fact, what's bothering, I think, the Democrats is that you now have a couple governors who are making sure the public understands what has actually been going on anyway. And remember, this is in the middle of a crime epidemic on a scale we have never seen, not even in the 70s. Philadelphia this year will have the highest murder rate in its history.
Wow.
Atlanta now has a higher per capita murder rate than Chicago. And of course, in Chicago, which has a huge crime problem, the people in the Democrats in the state legislature just voted to end bail for cash. So you're going to be turning out criminals back on the street in a way that, I mean, you have to wonder, are these people just crazy? Because it's not just political. I mean, this is not about being a radical leftist. This is about being nuts.
Yeah, and they're driving businesses out of Chicago, too, as we know, with McDonald's now raising the red flag. Finally, Newt, NBC News is reporting today that Biden aides are quietly assembling a 2024 campaign as they await final decision on his political future. Newt, they're trying to avoid the lame duck label, but Biden 2024 bumper stickers, are they ready to be plastered all over cars across America?
Listen, if I were the Republican candidates, I would be plastering Biden 2024 stickers as fast as I could get them. I think every candidate running on the Democratic ticket, I think it's a Biden-Warnock ticket, it's a Biden-Fetterman ticket, it's a Biden-Mark Kelly ticket. Let's see how many of them want to actually try to defend Biden. As I said a minute ago, you have a huge problem in the price of food, the price of gasoline. When heating oil prices go up in New Hampshire in October, I want to see how Senator Hassan answers that. So I think the Biden, but look, you're a paid staff, you're hanging around, you got nothing better to do. Why not invent a Biden 2024 bumper sticker? It could have a little kind of a frowny face because that's how the country will react to it.
Hope and deranged. All right, Newt, great to see you tonight as always. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.